And this is a good one, especially if you're an immigrant and you're male. Um, Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, YouTube. Come in, say hi. If this is your first time, say hi. My voice is so froggy this morning. I am so tired this morning, but I am going to push through. This is not going to be a very long live because I got to jump off very shortly. But I want to talk about just a few telltale signs. Um, when you're male and you're trying to establish whether you've been in an abusive marriage or not. I mean, it's going to be different for everybody, but I'm going to talk about some things I see and some emotional um, things or cycles that men go through to come to the acceptance of what's happening. So if you would like to schedule a consultation, call 407-995-6567. You can also send a WhatsApp to 404-333-8751. For those of you who don't know me or this is your first time tuning in, my name is Aisha Chidole. I am an immigration lawyer. I represent clients in all 50 states. We have an Atlanta office, which is typically where I will do your consultation if you came into the office. We've got one in Orlando, but we take cases everywhere. So don't let that be a deterrent. So before I get into men, I just want to first explain very quickly what VAWA for men is, and I'm specifically talking about men today. So do not come on my comment and say, what about women? Because it also covers women, but today's topic is about men, so let's not do that. Anyway, as I was saying, so VAWA, as you know, is Violence Against Women's Act. The name is very deceptive because when a lot of people hear the name, they think you have to be a woman to be eligible for a green card through this, but you don't. It's also for men who have been abused by their U.S. citizen or green card holder spouses. It's also available for fathers who have been abused by their children who are U.S. citizens over the age of 21. And it's also for young children or children under the age of 21 who have been abused by their green card holder or U.S. citizen parent. Why I really wanted to talk about men in particular is because when I have consults with guys, or maybe somebody came across one of my videos, it's usually like, like a eureka moment when they realize, like, oh my gosh, like this is what I'm experiencing, or this is what, I've experienced. So the first thing that you want to think about is from a cultural standpoint. Here in the United States, it's very, in America, people are just very free with their emotions and people can share and unbundled, whether you're male or you're female, and it's not that that's a bad thing because it's great, it's great not to hold things inside, but for a lot of immigrants, inclusive of myself, who's from Nigeria, there are cultures where men cannot show weakness. Men have to be the caretaker. Men have to be the provider. There are certain cultures where there's this meme, I'm going to use this example, and only those of you that are Nigerian might, get it, because I'm going to talk about the tribes, for instance. There's a meme where it says, like Igbo men, like their pride and joy is to be able to take care of their wife financially, and make their wives, look like she's well taken care of, or Yoruba men love to spoil their girlfriends and spoil their wives, and the same applies in different cultures. So that already sets them up for potentials of abuse. So let me pause again, because everything I say, there's always one person that misconstrues it. I'm not saying that those things are bad, because I absolutely think those are wonderful. Chivalry is wonderful. What I'm saying is that, so when a man is going through, i.e., financial abuse, they cannot remove or separate the two, because to them, they're crying, they're working from 7 a.m. in the morning till 1 a.m. at night, and rinse and repeat every day, Whereas they have a spouse who's a US citizen and is able to work and can work, but chooses not to work because she's like, why should I work when my husband is doing all this? And the husband is doing this under the table, so on any given day he can be caught and deported, right? Or a spouse who, financially makes more than his spouse, and is not willing to support the household while that person is making meager incomes. So for a lot of these men, all they think is, well, it's my responsibility, it's my job, it's my job. And, while it's great to feel that you're a provider, you want to make sure that your spouse is not taking advantage of that cultural upbringing. So those are one telltale sign. Another telltale sign is when, men, sometimes women will compare their sexual performance to other men they've been with. I cannot tell you guys how much of that we get, inclusive of them sending X-rated and disgusting pictures, of, well, look at my ex or whatever it is. You would never compare because they know, that is one way to hurt a man's manhood very much. And that is a source of shame. So it's not like they're going to talk about it with other people. So that's another big sign. Another sign is when it has to do with children and not really knowing if a child is yours. The last few series that I've posted about results, one thing that all those men have had in common is that they were deprived of seeing their children. Listen, I'm a woman and, I have kids and I love my kids, but it is not right, literally, to deprive the father of their children from seeing their children, no matter what you and that person are going through. So we've had husbands or dads or whatever, where they had a child, the woman just decided, well, I don't like you, we're not getting along, so I'm not going to include your name on the birth certificate. Or the worst one we've had is where people go and have outside affairs, come back, get pregnant, and put the burden on their spouses, and knowing fully well that that's not their child. And the first time that they find out that's not their child is, i.e., when the real father actually comes, or there's a DNA requested. We had a client where, I can't even remember what state in the South, basically said, we don't really care because as far as we're concerned, you and this person were married, and the real father is not taking responsibility, so you're on the hook for child support, right? So that's not right. So these are some examples and telltale signs. Then of course there's the physical stuff, where, we have a double standard in society, and anyone that says we don't knows that they're not being honest. And when I mean double standards, I mean, men cannot hit women. If you hit a woman, you're going to jail, basically. But women, that a lot of these men have such physical aggression thrown at them by these women, whether it's throwing things at them, whether it's hitting them. We see people that there's blood all over their face, guys. I can't tell you what we see on a daily basis here, and for a lot of those men, they cannot hit back because they're going to be in jail. So those women know that, and so they take advantage of that and do that when they shouldn't be doing that. So that's also another example of signs, basically, that you're being abused. And then there's just so much else, but these are some things that men struggle with, like the financial one, where it's oh, well, it's kind of my responsibility, but it's not your responsibility to be working 24 hours a day where you don't even get up to 3 hours of sleep, and your spouse is able to work or able to make more money but is not willing to, because she wants you to take care of her, whatever it is. And then sometimes there are some people people who, if their male spouse cannot get a job because, they don't have papers, they're not working under the table, they turn them into slaves in the household, and basically rip them of their dignity. I mean, at the end of the day, in order for your spouse to be able to work, you have to petition for them, right? So that they can get a work permit and get a job. So those are some of the signs. I'm going to just take a few questions and then I got to jump off. So let me see what we have here. Shalipo says, I lost my green card. Can I go ahead and apply for citizenship? The answer is that it depends. I don't know if you're eligible for citizenship. You have to be eligible for citizenship. Are you planning to travel? At some point, if you're planning to travel while you're waiting for your citizenship, you still want to renew, apply for a new green card so that you can at least get an I-90 receipt so you can get your green card stamped. Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to travel. Unless you're not traveling at all and you're eligible for citizenship, then you can apply for citizenship. Let's see what other questions I have here. Someone says, please, can you share this live so I can share it to someone? Yes, absolutely. I'll share the live. Thank you, Everbless, for the badge. I don't even know what that means, but thanks. Fontanelle says, I've tried calling your office a few times after making my appointment with you. I have a few questions. Well, have you spoken with me or do you already have an appointment? Well, that's weird if you're not able to get in contact with us. What number are you calling? Send us a DM and then our number here is 479956567. My suggestion is hop off this live and call because I'm sure my team members are on the live, so they should be able to get you. Just identify yourself as Fontanelle. Yana Bagger says, good morning, beautiful. Thank you for always keeping us informed. You're welcome. You're from the Gambia. How do you get petition I-360 receipt number in USCIS? You get the receipt number by filing for your I-360. Once you file, they should send you a receipt, like a paper copy, and your receipt number will be in that receipt. Keep in mind, though, that right now, if you are submitting an I-360 without an adjustment of status, there's a little bit of a delay. It's taking a little bit longer to get your receipt. If you do it with an adjustment of status, then it's not taking as long. So it depends on what you have. Sandra says, I love your makeup this morning. You're popping. Thank you so much. I see you in Jamaica. That's awesome. That's great. Can I travel on an expired 2-year conditional green card, but I have the extension letter? You should be able to. Just make sure you take your expired green card, the 2-year letter with you when you go and when you return. Can a male file for VAWA with the 2-year conditional green card? Genoa, what a male will be filing for is what we call removal of condition based on extreme cruelty and abuse. So essentially, there's similar requirements to VAWA, but they're also different. So it's not really VAWA per se, because VAWA, like with the I-360 SONS, is for those who don't have a green card. But as a 2-year green card holder, he certainly can file for removal of the condition to get a 10-year green card based on extreme cruelty and abuse. Paul says, thanks, my lawyer. You guys are the best. Thank you. Okay, so because you followed up by saying his wife wants a divorce. Yeah, and also, even if his wife wants a divorce, he can also file for removal of conditions based on the divorce. So, like, if there's not enough abuse, he can also, file it based on divorce. So that's fine. Okay. Kanti Bailey says, what is VAWA? VAWAs, I talked about it in the beginning, but I guess you just jumped in. But basically, VAWA is it just stands for Violence Against Women's Act, but the act covers both men, women, children, and parents who are abused by either their spouses who are U.S. citizens or green card holders, their parents who are U.S. citizens or green card holders, or children who are U.S. citizens over the age of 21. Now, if you are a child and let's say your parent was abusive, but you didn't find out about violence until you turned like 21 or 22, you still have this limited window between 21, but before you hit 25, where you can file. You just have to show that your lack of knowledge or your lack of ability to file was as a result of the abuse that you went through. Okay. Matilda on YouTube says, "Good morning, attorney. We appreciate your good work. More wisdom, your." Amen. Thank you. Okay, guys, I'm gonna jump off. My voice is so groggy today. I'm gonna jump off. I have a very important meeting, but I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I will be on live. Let me just check my schedule real quick. Yeah, so tomorrow I'm gonna be on live at about 10 a.m. So join in tomorrow. I'll talk about women and what kinds of telltale signs do women face, or signs to know that you're in an abusive marriage. All right. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday. Talk to you later. Bye.